in this frickin' country, the moment of discovery is the moment of destruction. If you don't know how to develop players, this is what you get. You're married to mediocrity. All this narrative that MLS is producing great players is a false narrative. The NBA Finals is in Game 7, and it's going to be won by Oklahoma City, America, led by a Canadian. Anybody that's just almost good enough to go to Europe from South America ends up in our league, and they get all the money, and they're pretty good, but that doesn't make our league better. Okay, a lot of responses from my response. Welcome into Unleashed. I'm Eric Wynalda. By the way, anybody noticing? Let's do some before and after shots. This is what happens to me after I watch Luis Enrique win the Champions League and take off his shirt. He took off his shirt, and I went, oh my God, that's what a 55-year-old man is supposed to look like. Thank you, sir. 15 pounds later, I'm feeling good. Intermittent fasting seems to work for me. And it doesn't hurt when I jog. Maybe that's what the 15 pounds being gone helps with on all the joints and all that stuff. Either way, I'm a fan of that guy because he has inspired me in more than, well, multiple ways, actually. And I owe my health to that skinny little fucker right now. Okay, now, if we're going to talk about the summer and we're going to talk about all the things that are happening, there's one topic that has just got a reaction from most of you. Last week, I talked a little bit about diversity, talked a little bit about our national team and the struggles that we have to build a national team. And I had to go. I basically said, can we just hold up our hand and say we're not fucking good at this? We have never been good at this. The United States of America has never been good at this. And anytime we basically say we've produced a player out of Major League Soccer and look at him now, okay, no. Really, we haven't, especially if we're going to talk about the guys that the Fab Four, what do you want to call them? That could be Christian Pulisic, who is not a product of U.S. soccer in any way, shape, or form. He went over to Dortmund when he was 15, for Christ's sake. Weston McKennie ended up in Schalke after a couple of years in Major League Soccer, but he kind of became a player over there. You can say the same about Tyler Adams, Reyna, Timothy Weah. Pretty much our front group didn't start things here. They learned it over there. Now, when we start doing this whole thing where we're trying to figure out why the United States national team is where it is, and maybe the potential is there, the resources are there, but we haven't been able to figure it out, nothing has changed, guys. Nothing at all. You know, and I don't like the comparisons, but when you go back in time and you look at the teams that we had in the past, and I was talking about the team of 1994, which had a Italian-American goalkeeper, an Uruguayan-American left back, an Argentine center back next to a Greek-American, next to an American guy, Paul Calagiuri, not a very American name in the sense that that guy speaks Italian just as good as anybody that I know. Tom Dooley didn't even speak English when he played in the World Cup for us. Tab Ramos was born in Uruguay. I don't even know where John Harkes was born. I think he might have been born in Kearney, New Jersey, but talk to his parents, you might have some difficulty understanding what the hell they're talking about. They're very Scottish. Ernie Stewart, Dutch as you can be, but Roy Wegerle, South Africa, played in England and was doing amazing things there. And myself, which I'm not really a Dutch American. I wish I could go back in time and change my passport. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I will look into that. Because by the way, my name is spelled Wynalda. That's Wynalda. That's not how it's spelled. Anybody who knows soccer, remembers guys like Wesley Sneijder or Rijkaard, it's IJ. My name is spelled Wijnalda. They didn't dot the I, they didn't dot the J on Ellis Island, and I became Wynalda. So I'm just as foreign as the next guy. So what I don't like is when we go into this topic of diversity. I'm going to have a go at some of my friends, ex-teammates, who felt that they would go on the record to say that diversity hurts us more than it helps us. Again, that's not the problem, folks. Stop being derailed by some false narrative that the fact that we're a melting pot is a problem. Yeah, it's not. That's not the problem. The problem is that we suck at this. We are not good at identifying talent. And I've always said this, in this frickin' country, the moment of discovery is the moment of destruction. Because if you don't know how to develop players, this is what you get. You're married to mediocrity. You have a B team representing the United States. I hate doing that to you guys because you're not B players. You're B products of an environment that's not your fault. It's not your fault. And all the robotic nature and the things that you do and the way that you play this game and lacking instinct or ambition for that matter, all of those things were ingrained into you. They're the habits that you developed many years ago, and they're now manifesting themselves in an international soccer game. This is like the scene from Good Will Hunting. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's ours. And until we get better at it, we won't get better at it. And the other problem with that is until we get better at it, we shouldn't be sitting here talking about how great our country can be when we can't get the fundamental stuff right. It's funny right now. I think this is hilarious. No, I don't. I don't think this is hilarious. I think this is a good comparison or a good, maybe it's not even an analogy, but think about basketball right now. Right? We're sitting here complaining as soccer people. How is it possible Canada's better than us? Well, let's go through that. Let's go through that. They identify their talent. They ship them somewhere else. Jonathan David, born in Brooklyn, by the way. How did we lose out on that guy? The Alphonso Davies of the world. These guys, once they're identified as talented, they have Major League Soccer, but there's only 3 Canadian teams. They're trying to have a Canadian league. They didn't have an option. So they send their best players to Europe because that is the option. And now they're better than us. They're better than us. We need to say that. How is that fucking different than 1995? We didn't have a league. 94, 92, 93. We didn't have a league, so what did we do? We went to Europe and we got better. All this narrative that MLS is producing great players is a false narrative. And until we figure out how to make our leagues competitive, to integrate something like promotion and relegation, and to make this not a landing spot for every has-been from Europe and every, I don't want to call them, because they're not stars. We turn them into stars, but anybody that's just almost good enough to go to Europe from South America ends up in our league, and they get all the money, and they're pretty good. But that doesn't make our league better. Get it? All Major League Soccer has done is make Costa Rica, Panama, Jamaica, yes, Mexico, Canada, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, all of them are better because of the league, and we're not. You get your arms around that, figure it out. Send me a note. See if you can figure it out. I certainly cannot. Now, going back to that NBA thing. Do we think we got a problem with Canada being better than the United States right now? Guess what? The NBA Finals is in Game 7, and it's going to be won by Oklahoma City, America, led by a Canadian. Think about it. It's what's happening. And relax. After the World Cup, you can get angry again, and then we can try to hit that reset button and fix this. But until then, we might be in trouble.